Okay, so today, let's take a deep dive into BSIP-0008.
Okay.
This proposal has the potential to, like, completely change the future of Bitshares.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if Bitshares had all the resources it needed, not to just, like, get by,
Right.
but to really thrive.
Yeah.
We're talking, like, full-time developers,
Mm.
rock-solid security,
Mm-hmm.
and just, like, a network that can outperform all the others.
Absolutely. And that's what's so fascinating about this proposal is that it actually proposes a way to make this vision a reality.
Yeah, how so?
By increasing the BitShares reserve pool, which is basically like the project's treasury.
Okay.
It's the pot of money that funds everything from development to network operations.
Right, and this proposal suggests increasing the total supply of Bitshares tokens.
Yeah.
To kind of like pump up that reserve pool.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that decrease the value of each token, though?
Well, that's a common misconception. The proposal really highlights a key difference here.
Okay.
Market cap is calculated based on circulating supply,
Right.
not total supply.
Got it.
So adding to the reserve pool doesn't directly affect the circulating supply or the market cap.
So it's kind of like when a company issues new shares.
Exactly.
Like the company's overall worth doesn't necessarily go down, right?
Right.
Okay, so potentially no immediate hit to the value of the tokens.
Exactly.
But how does this actually translate into like a better BitShares experience?
So a larger reserve pool opens up so many possibilities.
Okay.
For one thing, it lets us pay witnesses a much fairer rate.
Right. Those are the people who validate transactions and like keep the network secure, right?
Exactly. They're absolutely essential.
Yeah.
And with higher incentives, we can attract more skilled individuals, encourage healthy competition, and ultimately lead to a more robust and secure network.
Well, it makes sense that we need to incentivize the people who are really like the backbone of the whole thing.
Absolutely. It's about fairness, and it goes beyond just fairness.
Okay.
By attracting and retaining top talent,
Yeah.
we ensure the long-term stability and security of the entire BitShares network.
That's
Yeah, a huge win for everyone.
okay. And what about the development side of things? Because I know BitShares has relied heavily on volunteers, which is amazing,
Yeah.
but also maybe not sustainable in the long run.
You're absolutely right. Volunteers have been amazing. They poured their time and expertise into making this project what it is.
Right.
But imagine if we could give them the resources to work full-time on the core code,
Okay.
develop cutting-edge features, and create user interfaces that are as good as anything else in the industry.
That sounds like a complete game changer.
It really could be.
What kind of impact could that level of development have on BitShares as a whole?
This is where it gets really exciting because a dedicated development team can tackle the challenges that have held BitShares back.
Okay.
Whether it's scalability, security, or streamlining the user experience, we're talking about a BitShares that's not just keeping up with the competition, but actively pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
So it sounds like BSIP-0088 could like truly revitalize BitShares and like make it a leader in the blockchain space.
That's the goal, and I think it's within reach by addressing this funding issue head on.
Yeah.
We can empower the developers who are passionate about this project and give them the means to really make it shine.
Okay, this sounds incredibly promising.
Yeah.
But I am curious about one more aspect of the proposal.
Sure.
The distribution of funds to key stakeholders through worker proposals.
Right.
Can you explain what that entails?
Yeah, so right now there's a concentration of power in the BitShares network, with a few large accounts, mostly centralized exchanges, holding a big chunk of the tokens. And that centralization can be a bit of a concern for a project that prides itself on decentralization.
Right, so it's kind of like a decentralized network, but with a centralized power structure.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where worker proposals come in.
Okay.
By distributing funds through this mechanism, we can empower developers and individual users and give them a direct say in how the project evolves.
So it's about shifting the balance of power.
Exactly.
And making BitShares truly decentralized.
Not just in theory, but in practice.
So it's about like leveling the playing field, making sure everyone has a voice.
Exactly. And by empowering the community, we foster a sense of ownership and responsibility.
Okay.
And that creates a more engaged and vibrant ecosystem.
So this is a crucial step towards building a sustainable and truly decentralized future for BitShares.
I believe so.
Okay, so we've talked about how BSIP-0088 could revitalize BitShares.
Right.
By addressing some pretty key issues.
Right.
You know, development funding, witness incentives, network decentralization.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is like a compelling argument for a bolder, more ambitious approach.
It's about recognizing the value that developers and witnesses bring to this project
Right.
and giving them the support they deserve. It's about making a strategic investment in the future of Bitshares, one that could unlock its full potential.
This is an exciting conversation, and I can already kind of see the potential impact of this proposal.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that there are some potential downsides we need to consider.
Of course, no proposal is without its risks, and it's important that we explore those risks carefully.
Okay, so let's delve into those concerns
Okay.
and see how they weigh against the potential benefits of BSIP-0088.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we've been kind of digging into how this BSIP-0088 aims to, like, really revitalize BitShares.
Right.
But as with, like, any kind of bold move, there are bound to be concerns.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's, like, unpack some of those potential downsides and see how they hold up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so one of the things I've heard is this concern about inflation.
Right.
You know, like, adding more tokens could dilute the value of the ones that are already out there.
Yeah, that's one of the most common concerns.
Yeah, that makes sense, like, intuitively.
Yeah.
But didn't we talk about earlier how market cap is based on circulating supply,
Yeah,
not the total supply?
exactly.
So if the new tokens just go into that reserve pool,
Right.
wouldn't that mean they're not, like, immediately affecting the circulating supply?
That's correct in theory.
Okay.
However, markets don't always behave perfectly rationally.
Right, they don't.
So even if the logic makes sense on paper, the perception of inflation could still spook some investors, and that could lead to selling pressure and impact the price.
So it's like a psychological thing
Exactly.
as much as, like, an economic one.
Yeah, it's all about perception, and that's why transparency is so crucial.
Right.
The BitShares community really needs to have these open and honest conversations about these concerns,
Yeah.
address them head on, and educate everyone on the nuances of, token supply, market cap, and the long-term vision of this proposal.
So it's like transparency and clear communication. Those are, like, the key themes here.
Absolutely.
Okay, another criticism I've heard is this idea that, like, BitShares should just focus on increasing adoption and usage
Right.
rather than, like, messing with the token supply.
Yeah, some people see it as manipulation.
Right.
But they argue that a project's value should be driven by, organic growth, real-world applications, and expanding user base. They say artificially inflating the reserve pool isn't a sustainable solution.
So it's that classic, like, build it and they will come
Exactly.
kind of philosophy.
Yeah, and there's definitely some merit to that argument.
Okay.
A thriving ecosystem with lots of different applications and active users, that's going to attract investment and drive demand for the token.
Bro.
But here's the thing, organic growth and development funding, those aren't mutually exclusive.
So you're saying we can aim for both?
Absolutely. In fact, I think they actually work together.
Okay.
Think about it. A well-funded development team can build the applications and features that attract new users and drive that organic growth.
Okay, yeah.
It creates this positive feedback loop where investment in development leads to a better product, which then attracts more users and more investment.
So it's like this strategic approach to building a sustainable ecosystem.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the inflation concern and the focus on organic growth. Are there any other, like, criticisms that we should address?
Yeah, there's one more that's worth mentioning.
Okay, what's that?
It's the potential for complacency and a lack of accountability if the reserve pool gets too big.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How could a large reserve pool lead to those issues?
Well, the concern is that, a sudden influx of funds could kind of reduce the sense of urgency and accountability that often drives innovation and responsible governance.
So if everyone's just sitting on this big pile of money, there's less pressure to actually, like, manage it well and, think about what the community needs.
Exactly. It's almost like that old saying, more money, more problems.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's important to remember BSIP-0088 doesn't just propose, throwing more tokens into a pool.
Right.
It outlines mechanisms for ensuring transparency and accountability.
Okay.
Remember those worker proposals we discussed?
Yeah.
That's one way to make sure that the funds are being used effectively.
Right.
And in a way that aligns with the community's vision.
So, like, the proposal itself has these safeguards to mitigate the risks.
Exactly. It's not just about adding tokens, it's about creating a system where those tokens are managed responsibly, transparently, and with the active participation of the BitShares community.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they've really put a lot of thought into addressing the potential downsides here.
They really have, and that's what I love about this community.
Yeah.
They're willing to have these open discussions.
Yeah.
They analyze everything critically and consider all perspectives before making a decision.
Well, we've kind of examined those potential benefits of BSIP-0088.
Right.
And, tackled some of those key criticisms.
Yeah.
And it's clear that this is a really complex issue.
Sure.
There are no easy answers.
It's not black and white.
No.
And that's what makes it so interesting. The future of Bitshares is in the hands of its community.
Right.
It's up to each person to weigh the arguments, assess the risks, and decide if this is the path they believe in.
It's like that reminder that the blockchain space is about more than just technology.
Yeah.
It's about building this new way of making decisions, allocating resources, and shaping the future together.
Absolutely. It's about empowering people, fostering transparency, and creating systems that are truly owned and governed by the community.
Well, in the final part of our deep dive,
Okay,
we'll explore some of these broader implications of BSIP-0088 and what it could mean for the future of decentralized governance. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about this BSIP-0088.
Right.
Like really getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
But as we kind of wrap things up, I want to zoom out a little bit.
Okay.
And look at the bigger picture. What does this mean for decentralized governance as a whole?
Well, what I find so exciting about BSIP-0088 is that it goes beyond just Bitshares.
Yeah.
It's like a real-world experiment in how a decentralized community can make these big decisions, about resource allocation, development priorities, even the whole direction of their ecosystem.
Yeah, it's like we're seeing blockchain-based democracy actually happening.
Exactly. Bitshares with its on-chain voting mechanism.
Right.
It gives every single token holder a voice, and that level of direct participation is huge.
Yeah.
It's a powerful example of how blockchain technology can give communities the tools to govern themselves.
So it's not just about Bitshares itself.
Right.
It's about demonstrating this new model for governance.
Exactly.
That other projects could potentially follow.
Absolutely. The outcome of this vote on BSIP-0088 could set a precedent for other blockchain communities.
Okay.
Encourage them to explore these innovative solutions to funding development, community engagement.
Yeah.
It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in decentralized governance.
It's like a ripple effect starting with Bitshares.
Right.
But it could spread to the whole blockchain ecosystem.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of this space. It's constantly evolving, experimenting, learning from each other.
Okay, so we've talked about these potential benefits.
Yeah.
Funding full-time development.
Right.
Compensating witnesses fairly, creating a more decentralized network. But some people say that we can achieve those goals through organic growth.
Yeah.
And that manipulating the token supply is not the way to go.
Right. Some people have that concern.
What's your perspective on that?
So organic growth is definitely important.
Okay.
But I see BSIP-0088 as a strategic catalyst to reach those goals more effectively by tackling the funding issue head on.
Right.
We create this positive feedback loop where a well-funded development team can build better applications, attract more users, and then that drives more organic growth.
So it's not an either-or situation.
Yeah.
It's about combining strategic investment with a commitment to building that thriving ecosystem.
Exactly. It's about giving the developers and witnesses the resources they need to create a platform that's competitive and innovative.
It sounds like a lot of careful thought went into this proposal.
Yeah.
Balancing the need for immediate action with this long-term vision for a stronger Bitshares.
And that's what's so great about this community.
Yeah.
They're willing to have these open and honest debates, weigh the risks and rewards, and then ultimately make decisions that benefit the entire project.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the future of Bitshares and about the potential of decentralized governance in general.
It's exciting stuff.
What are your final thoughts for our listeners as they kind of think about the implications of this proposal?
Well, the future of Bitshares, like any blockchain project, it's in the hands of its community.
Right.
It's up to each individual to join the conversation, learn about BSIP-0088, and participate in the voting process.
Yeah.
These decisions that we're making now, they're going to shape the future of this project.
For sure.
This is your chance to be part of something big.
Okay.
A movement towards a future that's more decentralized, more transparent, and more community-driven.
We encourage you to check out the source material.
Yeah.
Join the discussions that are happening in the Bitshares community, and make an informed decision that reflects your own vision for the future of this project.
Absolutely.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep